You're listening to CFRN, a community of believers who trade for a living. To learn more about who we are, what we do, and how we do it, call toll-free 1-866-928-3310, and we'll send you out a no-obligation information kit absolutely free. 866-928-3310. The CFRN Emini Futures Cast is now on Stitcher. Listen to us on your iPhone, Android phones, BlackBerry, and WebOS phones. Stitcher is smart radio for your phone. Find it in your app store or at Stitcher.com. Stitcher Smart Radio, the smarter way to listen to radio.
Are you ready, Steve? Andy? Yeah! Bert? Well, all right, fellas. Let's go!
You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Today's broadcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download at www.audibletrial.com/CFRN. Over 85,000 titles. Choose from mystery, romance, religion, science, technology, business, New York Times bestsellers, even children's books. You name it, Audible has it. With 85,000 titles to choose from, you're sure to find the perfect audiobook for yourself or to give as a gift, and it's absolutely free. Just point your browser to audibletrial.com/CFRN. That's audibletrial.com/CFRN. And become a part of the audiobook revolution by downloading your free audiobook today. audibletrial.com/CFRN.
Hey, trader, want to get rich quick? Well, good luck with that. If, on the other hand, you actually want to learn how to trade, the place to be is www.cfrn.net. Tune in Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern for our daily devotional, and then spend the next 3 hours learning how it's done from professional traders who actually trade for a living. That's www.cfrn.net. Every trading day from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern. CFRN, a community of believers who trade for a living.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN Emini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of indeterminate length, where we discuss all things Emini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro, and even T-bills. Joining us today from our studios in Boston, Mr. Michael Bork. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. Today is Friday, 16th day of September, 2016. Let's take a quick look at the numbers here. These are the cash markets in the U.S. It's looking pretty red. The Dow is down 66 points. NASDAQ is down 10. S&P 500 down 9. And the Russell 2000 down almost 4. Not a mover or a shaker in the bunch. Just a quiet sea of red. In our commodity basket, crude oil is down 80 cents. That's almost 2%. Gold is down $7.10. Getting pretty close to that $1,300 level. We're trading $13.10.90 right now. Asian markets, the Nikkei is up 114. Shanghai is down 20. Hang Seng is up 144. Now, that puts the Nikkei up a little more than half of 1%. and the same for the Hang Seng. In European markets, the DAX is down 155. That's 1.5%. The FTSE is down 20, and the CAC is down 40. That's almost 1%. So Europe is red across the board. Asia is mixed, and the U.S. is red across the board as well. Well, the big headline today. I don't know if you're ready for this. Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump acknowledged today that President Barack Obama was born in the United States, a major reversal from years of questioning Obama's birthplace. President Obama was born in the U.S., Trump said at a press conference, period. Now we all want to get back to making America strong and great again. Trump also blamed the birther movement on his Democratic rival, presidential nominee Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton and her campaign of 2008 started the birther controversy. Trump said, I finished it. You know what I mean. At the 30-minute event during which Trump was expected to address birtherism, several generals and admirals from the U.S. military came out and endorsed Trump. Trump didn't address the birther issue until the very end. During the 2012 election cycle, Trump repeatedly called on Obama to release his birth certificate to prove that he was born in the U.S. While there were rumors circulating before 2011 about Obama's birthplace, Trump is widely credited with bringing birtherism into the mainstream. Trump demanded publicly for months that Obama release his long-form birth certificate. As the issue gained more attention, Obama did eventually relent and release the document. And whether that form was real or not, it doesn't matter. Well, it matters, but 8 years later, what's the point? But the question that I always had was, why is this an issue? If someone asked to see my birth certificate, whether I was running for president or head of the PTA, I mean, I just wouldn't have a problem handing it over. Would you? I mean, seriously, put yourself in the president's shoes, whoever that might be. Would you have a problem handing over your birth certificate? Now, at the same time, John McCain's eligibility was questioned because he was born in Panama, but he was born on a military base considered U.S. soil, and when he was asked for his birth certificate, he just gave it to him. So I think more than anything, what people wondered was, why the hold off? Why the standoff? Why did it take so long? Why did there have to be, was it a way of misdirecting the people's attention from what was really going on and what was really important, knowing that eventually he could produce the much awaited certificate? And of course, if you go on YouTube, you can find the Photoshop guys who've reverse engineered it and have, taken it apart piece by piece. And I mean, there's all kinds of reasons why they say even yet it's not the real deal, because the hospital name on the birth certificate, that hospital wasn't named. It didn't carry that name at the time he allegedly was born there. So, I mean, if one was put over on America, so be it. I mean, it's behind us now. He's on his way out. We think. We believe. I mean, there was talk the other day here on the show that there may not be an election in November. Let's hope there is. And let's hope that America gets on a solid footing and that we move forward and prosperity returns to this country and that we do become once again the greatest nation on the face of the earth. In my opinion, we still are. We don't have to make America great again. We already are great. I don't care how many marches are held on how many dusty streets in third world countries where effigies are burned and, down with America. Deep down inside, the majority of people in this world wish they lived in America. And what did I do to deserve to be born in America? Absolutely nothing. It's just how it played out. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to try to do something with it. The fact that I was born in a land where there is freedom of speech, freedom of religion, the freedom to own a business, the freedom to better oneself, the freedom to help better the lives of those around us. That's what I'm going to try to do. I'm certainly never, ever going to take it for granted that I was born in America. And I hope those of you in the audience today who do live here, I hope you feel the same way. And to those of you who are tuned in from other countries, I'm sure you feel a loyalty to your country and that you want to see some of the freedoms and some of the privileges that we have here in America, that you would like to have those in your own home country, and we wish that for you. We certainly do. Were it not for this terrorist issue that we've been facing for so many years, I've always been for open borders to a degree, and open immigration. Ellis Island means some of the greatest Americans we've ever known go back a few generations, and their families got here via Ellis Island. We all started, if we go back enough generations, we all started somewhere else. So anyway, I'm glad we're done with the whole birther problem. One more piece of news and we'll go to Michael. The implosion of Rothenberg Ventures, a venture firm known for its over-the-top parties and spending, as well as its young, charismatic founder, Mike Rothenberg, appears to have taken another dark turn. The company admitted to its investors that the Securities and Exchange Commission was looking into the company, according to an email obtained by Business Insider. Although such inquiries do not automatically mean that any further action will be taken, at issue is how the company managed its money. Now the SEC has asked people familiar with the company to speak to the FBI and the U.S. Attorney's Office. A person close to the matter told us, which could mean that more investigations are being considered. Again, it doesn't mean this will result in a full-blown investigation or formal charges. A representative from Rothenberg, now called Frontier Tech, told us the company is not aware of any criminal investigation. In addition, sources told Business Insider that multiple employees have filed wage complaints against the company with the state of California. The firm, which had about $50 million under management, ran out of operating money, and all its employees except its lawyer were told they were put on unpaid leave as of mid-August, according to a lengthy account of the firm's troubles on Backchannel. An employee who talked more aptly described the situation as being unemployed. You put yourself on unpaid leave You can't put a company on unpaid leave. Rothenberg Ventures has been the talk of the Valley for the past 2 weeks as one bit of bad news after another was leaked to the press. TechCrunch documented the mass exodus of employees. Jesse Hempel and Lori Smiley published their report on Back Channel. Business Insider published the email sent to investors that included a solicitation for more working capital in exchange for a general partnership. Business Insider has since talked to several former employees of the company who all described their experiences with 32-year-old Rothenberg like something out of a horror movie. They used words and phrases like vengeful, a messed up human, megalomaniac, master manipulator, and a lack of empathy. Now, am I just getting old? Or does he look awfully young? Okay. He's got $500 million under management, or had. Now, Rothenberg was, now on top of being messed up, master manipulator, and lacking empathy, he was also described as charming and convincing. He was obsessed with being famous and his own reputation. The company was known for its extravagance, wine tours of Napa Valley, sports events in luxury boxes, a race car, and its founder field day where it rented the giant stadium AT&T Park and treated startup founders to batting practice on the field and free massages. Last year, Bloomberg ran a story that questioned how the firm was paying for its party culture. After the story was published, Rothenberg sent multiple employees to the local airports so they could buy up all the copies of the issue, according to TechCrunch. Another person told us that at least 2 times Rothenberg changed his mind and rescinded a job offer at the last minute, even after the would-be employee had left another job or even moved from another state. Rothenberg's representatives declined to comment on these allegations. We heard multiple allegations of wage disputes as Back Channel reported one employee filed a lawsuit alleging that Rothenberg had refused to reimburse $109,000 worth of expenses. None of the startup founders backed by Rothenberg would respond to requests for comments. But former employees said they might still feel loyal to Rothenberg because he invested in them when others wouldn't. But some of them could be nervous as well. Matt Morellis, a CEO coach, published a blog about a conversation he had with one of Rothenberg's founders. He was young, no professional experience outside of a couple of menial summer jobs, but the business was surprisingly solid and well thought out. He'd just started raising money again. And here was his lead investor, the only brand name on a cap table littered with unsophisticated friends, family, and random people, going through a very public meltdown at the worst possible time. Miralles advised the founder to find out if the investment note could be called or the stake could be sold, and beyond that to simply step up, be honest about the connection, and take it on the chin. It looks as though a lot of other folks involved in the company will need to take the same advice. He should go hang out with this kid that was the CEO of the hedge funds and the pharmaceutical company. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Yeah, Bill, I agree. Bill says, in reference to the birther announcement, he got away with it. You know, maybe he did, but, I mean, it's history now. So to dredge it up again, just doesn't make any sense. And I think that's what Trump's trying to do. He's trying to just say, you know, what's the point? I think history will bear out the truth at some point. As for now, all eyes are on November. And Jolene, I did send you the video that you requested, so you're good to go. Okay, but now you got 2 copies. All right, Michael, it's all yours. Take it away.
There's that. Give me just a moment and I'll have my recap up there. There we go. Alright, I'm going to hit record.
Okay.
Right, good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Friday, the 16th day of 16th day of September. Today in the live trading room, we made 12 ticks in soybeans, we lost 6 ticks in the euro, we made 1 tick in crude, and we lost 7 ticks in gold. So we were not very green today. Today it took us 23 minutes and 3 trades to get to $110 a contract, and we took a total of 11 trades. On the month now, we're up $1,823. That's over 11 trading days, averaging $165 a day. If you were to apply an $8 commission, you'd have a net profit of $623, and if you were to apply a $5 commission, you'd have a net profit of $1,073. Our yearly total now, $42,668. That's over 175 trading days, averaging $243 per day. $243 per day. Okay. If you have not taken a free trial with us, go to CFRN.net. In the right-hand column where it says register for a free trial, put in your name, put in your email, click on register for a free trial. When you do that, you'll be sent a confirmation link. You must click the confirmation link. Okay, if you don't click that link, you don't get the free trial. It's as simple as that. Well, I'll show you the YM, though we didn't trade the YM today. Okay, we didn't trade it at all. Let's see. Yeah, you see the YM had some pretty good movement. Had some decent trades in here, I guess. It looks like. Yeah, right in there. Nothing there. Right here you had a couple of nice legs. And right here as well. But we didn't trade the YM today. We were busy enough with other stuff. On gold today, let's see. Gold, we had 4 trades. Yeah, 4 trades. Our first trade was right here. We took 1 tick profit on that one. Then we had a break even and another break even, and then we stopped out. During the break, let's see. There was a short trade right in here during the break after we broke dynamic support right there, and another one right down here. Okay, and that was it. We were -7 on gold today. On the ES, see how many trades I pointed out. Looks like just these 4. There was a short right here, a short right here. This one giving you some profit. This one would have been break even. A short right here, which would have been break even, and a long right here. That might have given you a little bit of profit. During the break, there was a long right here. That probably would have been a break even. And that was it. Okay. Crude oil. Where were we on crude today? Just +1. We just had these 2 trades too. Had a break even right there. And +1 tick right there. I missed a trade here. And another one right there. Let's see, during the break, there was a short trade there, and that was about it. That was about it on crude. We're +1 tick on crude. Soybeans. And soybeans is where we nailed the first trade right here that we took on beans. We get 12 ticks profit on that one. And then the one right after it, another 8 ticks to put us up at +20. It was right here where we got the goal for the day when we exited out of this trade. Then we stopped out on one right here, and that was it. During the break, there was a trade right there, right here, momentum long trade. But we ended up with plus 12 on the soybeans. Okay, and the euro. Our first trade on the euro was right here. We stopped out minus 8 ticks. And the euro was pretty choppy in here until we got over here. We took 2 ticks profit on this one to put us at minus 6 total on the euro. And it really didn't have anything there to break. Okay, so that is all that. That was a quick recap. That's like a 3-minute recap. Something like that, 5-minute recap. Anyway, if you have not taken a free trial with us, go to the home page here at CFRN.net, and in the right-hand column where it says register for a free trial, put in your name, put in your email, click on register for a free trial. When you do that, you'll be sent a confirmation link. You must click the confirmation link. Okay, if you don't click the confirmation link, you will not get a free trial. It's as simple as that. Okay. This one. So to recap our day, we made 12 ticks on soybeans, we lost 6 ticks on the euro, we made 1 tick on crude, and we lost 7 ticks on gold. Took us 23 minutes and 3 trades to get to $110 a contract, and we took a total of 11 trades. So on the month now, we're up 1823.75. That's over 11 trading days, averaging 165. On the year, we're up 42,668. That's over 175 trading days, averaging $243 per day. Okay, and that is all she wrote. All right, that's it, guys. With that, I'm going to shut off the recording like that. And Dwayne, if you are available, we can head back out to fabulous Phoenix, Arizona.
Yeah, I'm ready. Go ahead. Push the charts over.
Okay. There we go.
Okay. All right, guys. As you can see, we've been battling back and forth since midnight, oh, even before midnight, all the way back to 6:30 last night. This weekly trading zone at 33.34. This is what consolidation looks like. It went on for 6+ hours. Then we made a break down to this area that we highlighted earlier in the week. This is not a weekly trading zone. This is the high up 2015, and price has bounced from the 2015 high back up to the zone, down to the 2015 high, back up to the zone, down to the high, back up to the zone. Now, this is not the lowest weekly trading zone by any stretch. It's been a rather quiet week. The next zone below is 2100/2101, and we never came near it. We have spent a good portion of the week, as you can see, stuck to that 2015 high. So hopefully come Monday night or Sunday night on the Globex Open. Now, we did see 2100/2101 right after the, here's the Globex Open. This was our first trade of the week to be short at 2107. We got 3 moves off of that, and then this move higher, good for 13.5 points, which actually ended up continuing on after the radio show and ran up a total of 36 points per contract, which took us to the 49.50 weekly zone, and then we consolidated and it brought us back down to the 33.34 weekly zone, and then we hit this 2112 area, and we've come back to it a couple of times. I'm sorry, 2111. 2111 area. And this is where it looks like we're going to wind up a quiet week somewhere in this general area, unless there's a breakout above 37 or we drop below 22. And there's nothing happening today to move the markets. I don't believe there's any late night news tonight, and I don't believe there's going to be any. Let me check real quick and I'll see if there's anything news-wise before the Sunday night Globex Open. Sometimes we have news out of China that can certainly affect the markets if it's a high impact. Let's see if there's anything tonight. No, we have nothing at all tonight. And as for tomorrow, we have absolutely nothing. And then next week, Sunday night, we do have some news out, none of it high impact. Japan's on holiday Monday. Respect for the Aged Day. Okay. Hey, Mike, would you mind muting that, please?
Oh, sorry. Sorry, I didn't realize my mic was on.
No problem. The only high-impact news we have on Monday, quiet news. There's a lot of medium impact stuff, but the only high impact comes at 21:30 Monday night out of Australia. As far as high impact news in the U.S., it looks like Wednesday, crude oil inventories is the first high impact. Now, Tuesday night, this is one to watch for. It says tentative, so we don't have an exact time, but it's after 2300 hours. The Bank of Japan is going to come out with their monetary policy statement and their interest rate decision. That is high impact, and that can move. Oh, I missed Tuesday morning at 8:30. We have building permits. That's a high impact. But on Monday, we don't. So, nothing to worry about news-wise. Unfortunate, and that's unfortunate because news is typically what will spark the marketing, put a little fuel on the fire, and then once the markets begin to move based upon the economic news, then we will see traders get involved and create their own reasons for moving the market. Today we're going to talk about the fear of the Lord. We all know that the scripture says the beginning of wisdom is the fear of the Lord. Proverbs 14:26 says that in the fear of the Lord there is strong confidence. It's Proverbs 14:26 out of the Amplified. When you submit to God, you don't have to be afraid of anything because He becomes your refuge and your strength. Psalm 46:1. Fearing God doesn't mean being afraid He's going to hurt you. He's a good God. The fear of the Lord is about honor and respect. It just means you'll follow His directions and recognize His authority in all things. You've probably noticed there's not a lot of respect for authority these days. We've developed the kind of mentality that says, nobody's going to tell me what to do. But the Bible says, in the reverent and worshipful fear of the Lord, there is strong confidence. Proverbs 14:26. Why does it say that? Because a reverent and worshipful fear means being respectful and obedient. It means you'll do what God says to do, and your confidence and your trust in Him will continue to grow. And you'll notice something else that's important. The more reverential fear and awe you have of God, the more careful and courteous you'll be in your dealings with others. You see, if I can see the Christ in you, I'm going to treat you a whole lot different than if I can't see the Christ in you. And we should all be able to see the Christ in each other. For He created us all in His own image. Think about that the next time the clerk at the store aggravates you, or the valet scratches your car. Before you look him in the eye to give him a piece of your mind, why don't you look him in the eye and give him a piece of your heart? See if you can't see the Christ in him. Because it's there. Question is, can you see it? You'll notice something else. The more reverential fear and awe you have of God, the more careful and courteous you'll be in your dealings with others. That's why we've always said on this radio program, no matter how anyone else behaves, we will always treat everyone with dignity and respect. We're now in our second decade of doing that. Does that mean sometimes you turn your head or bite your tongue or just sit with it? Yeah, it does. But you know what? It's the right thing to do. And I encourage you to do that in all your dealings. Treat everybody you come in contact with dignity and respect. You'll be rewarded greatly for that. Those people, that clerk, that valet, they'll remember you next time. When you overlook their surliness or incompetence or the scratch on the car, the fact that you didn't rip into them, rip their head off, call their boss. You treated them with dignity and respect. And you'll find that as you treat people that way, not in every case, but in most cases, they will treat you the same way, with dignity and respect. It says in the Bible that they will know us because of our love. Do people know you because of your love? Is that how they know that you're a believer? Because of how you treat others? It's a question we should all ask ourselves on a continuous basis. Now, what other people think of me is none of my business. But I owe it to myself to sometimes look at the man in the mirror and ask myself, what do you see and what does the world see? Most importantly, what does God see? And as long as I'm okay with what God sees, I know I'm on the right track. And that's the track I'll stay on. You're accountable to God for your actions. And you recognize that other people are just as valuable to Him as you are. Solomon writes, "Here is the conclusion of the matter. Fear God and keep His commandments. This is the whole duty of man. Now, Solomon was writing in the Old Testament, and he was talking about keeping Moses' law, 600 people, 600 laws. In the New Testament, Jesus really took a great weight off our shoulders. He said, guys, on this hangs all the laws of the prophets. Love God, love one another, you'll be all right. And then he said, I'll be back to get you. Now, after all the years of public ministry, after that dreadful day on Calvary, after descending into the depths of hell, rising again, cooking the boys breakfast down on the beach, you'd think he'd have one heck of an exit speech. And he did. He summed it up real nice. He said, love God, love one another, you'll be all right. And by the way, I'll be back to get you. And on that, we hang our hat. Moses told the children of Israel, what does the Lord your God ask of you but to fear the Lord your God, walk in all his ways, love him, serve the Lord your God with all of your heart and soul. Deuteronomy 10:12. It's really not complicated. The beginning of wisdom is the fear of the Lord. And that's a good word for this day. All right. We're going to take a quick look at a couple of the alerts from last night. Like I said, I've got a meeting this afternoon, and then I have mentoring classes, and so I'm going to move through a couple of these real quick. I'm just reaching out to Chris Robinson. To let him know that he can pop in anytime he'd like. Okay. All right, on the S&P last night, we were looking to be a buyer at 39, a seller at 28. Okay. We didn't do 39, so that gets removed from the equation. Okay, 21.28, right smack in the middle of this 2015 area that we've got marked off as the high. Some say it's 15, some say it's 27, some 28, some 29, so I just gave it a 2-point range there. But last night our idea was to sell 21.28. On the first move down, we only dropped to 21.26 and a half. A move to 26 would have given us 2 points, 8 ticks. We never get out at the exact swing low anyhow. And so those who took this particular trade, depending upon your stop loss, there's a good chance that this would have been a stop. What it made available was 6 ticks and not 8. There are 6 ticks available. Now, if you're trading at live trading room style, of course, you would have an opportunity to move your stop. But if you're trading for a bigger move, unfortunately, the market just didn't have any bigger moves today. It's just been cramped in this little area. The high of the session, 2136. The low of the session, 2123. It's about 13 points. So we've got a daily range of about 13 points. Now let's take a look. Oh, this is on 30 minutes. I'm going to have to make this chart look really ugly for a minute. And then over the last 14 days, that's the default look back period, we've had an average daily range of 24 points. Let's back it out to 30. So between the last 2 weeks and a month, we've averaged between 18 and 24 points from the high of the day to the low of the day. And today we're sitting at 13. So that just gives you an idea of what a quiet day it is in the markets. Okay. Now it looks like it wants to make a move back down. Often on quiet Fridays like this, I have seen this, I'm not predicting this, will be quiet the majority of the day. Hello, Leslie, how are you?
Good, good. I have Chris for you. May I patch him through?
Yeah, you certainly may, and I just want to ask you, you think next Wednesday you might be able to talk to Wayne and I about gold?
Love to.
We were going to do it this Wednesday, and then, I don't know, I just forgot, I guess, so I apologize. I hope you have a great weekend.
Okay.
Hey,
Oh, here's
Chris.
Chris.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm good. How are you, sir?
I'm good. So now, the big report that came out this week, that was the WASD, right?
Yeah, it kind of, it's interesting. We made our lows and we've rallied since it. So it looked like they were going to really pound on it. But I think the biggest thing was the yields in soybeans. They came out with over 50 bushels. It's going to be a very large crop. And lo and behold, what happens? We make a low and then we rally, 35 cents off it. So one of those things where kind of buy the rumor, sell the fact. Corn made its low actually the day after the report. They leaned on it pretty good. 940 held, and we traded up to almost 970 today. The big draw there in that November beans is that 200-day moving average, which is at 970. That's kind of a determining factor for a lot of these funds, whether or not they're going to stay long. The funds are long 70,000 contracts of beans. You counteract that against the massive short they have. They've got a record short position in wheat, 130,000 contracts, which doesn't sound like a lot, but they're long almost they're short almost 1.5 times the size of the crop. So they've got a bigger short bet out there than their crop, that we're going to grow for Chicago soft winter wheat. So that's something that's leading them on the market. And the third thing is they have a big position there short corn, about 175,000 contracts. So, you know, we're getting into harvest now, you know, some people look for a harvest low sometime in the next 2, 3, 4 weeks. The seasonals sometimes bear that out. And but I think that's the biggest thing coming out of the report was the fact that, you know, we got a very bearish report. We made a low, and it kind of by the rumor sell the fact we bounced off it. So everybody that saw that report and then sold it because it was, you know, negative information, you know, big crop, you know, they're all underwater. So just one more example of how sometimes what you think is the right thing to do can be the, you know, in trading, or it can be the kind of the opposite of what you really need to be doing if you're trying to, if your goal is to make money. Sometimes you have to do what seems to be opposite to what, you know, what logic would tell you to do. You see that a lot in trading.
Well, I'm looking at a
so I don't know. What do you guys watch?
I'm looking at a daily chart right now of soybeans, and going back into June, we had a leg down and a leg up and a leg down, a leg up, and it's just been sort of a stair step down. And now we've got on the daily chart of November beans sort of a triple bottom right here at this 940. 942, yeah, 940, 942.
We hit it in August 31st, and we hit it again September 1st, then again 13th, the 14th, and then you know, the 15th. So maybe that's the bottom. Certainly a lot of farmers hope it's the bottom, but
now,
you know, if that fails, we get a problem, because then opens up the door back to where we were back in you know, September of last year. You know, we're looking at, that's 8-year lows. So we're $1 higher than the 8-year lows. I know that sounds kind of weird, but you know, 850 was where this all started, going back to September of last year. If we were to go down there and fall out of bed and really retest 850, that would be the lowest prices we've had in 8 years. And certainly, if you look at the longer-term chart, you know, it's a coin toss. You know, it's possible. It's possible. We really need to get November beans above $10 to sort of turn the tide there on the charts. And then really, I'd like to see 1050. We get to 1050, that's going to be really bullish. But soybeans, you know, you talked about how good November soybeans have been to you as a trader, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of opportunity there, you know?
Yeah, it's been beautiful. I'm looking now at a daily chart, and I've scrunched it up a little bit. And I'm looking at the low that came in on September 11th of 2015.
Yep.
And the high that came in on June 10th of this year. And I pulled fibs on those, and the 62% retracement seems to be right around 978. So we've broken that 62% retracement once, bounced back up to the 50, and then we've broken the 62 again, and we just hit the 62 a few days ago, and we bounced down again. So,
yep.
That's
why
I'm trying to.
We need to get above 1025. We get above 1025, then you're looking at, you know, that would be a good bounce.
So what gets us above, when you say what would get us above 1025? Weather, some kind of news?
Weather, I mean, we caught a little bit here right now. You need to have kind of a perfect storm. You need to have everybody be very bearish and wrong. So you need the herd to be wrong. You need to have some sort of a weather issue. Now, the next 2 weeks here, that's the reason we caught a bid today. It may delay the harvest a little bit, and we're getting to the point where fundamentally, like from a supply demand, we're starting to run out of old crop beans. The Chinese have been active buyers really since for the past month. They've been buying every week, and if they were to continue to buy, the problem is when we get around $10, they put their hands down. If they continued to buy at $10, that would be very, very, very positive, I think. So we need to have the demand at this point because we are looking at gigantic supply. So you need to have a little bit of Mother Nature, maybe some rain delays. You need to have continued demand. You know, put it all in a bag, shake and bake, and you know, we need to get a short cover and rally. The funds are still long 70,000. You know, so if they decide that, you know, they've got plenty of powder if they want to, you know, get long. So that's it. You need to have that perfect storm, though. And what's going to catch their attention, I think, is getting above that 50% retracement level for the overall move, which you just penciled out for you guys. You know, if you go back to that old low, which was an 8-year low, and then you get penciled out to the June high this year, the halfway back trade is 1017.5. So I think that that's something that if we can get above 1017.5, then it opens up. That may change the story. But barring that, you know, if this 940 fails, I would say that the bulls have some problems.
Now, I know that the Chinese are actively buying up land in Africa to grow their own crops. And they're buying, I mean, they're going out into the outback of Africa. Our orphanage is about 45 miles, or about 45 minutes as the crow flies from Kampala, which means it takes about 4 days on that dirt road to get there. Actually, the road to the orphanage got paved recently, but my point is the Chinese are just buying land up hand over fist. And some of these families have held their land for generations and generations, but the Chinese are waving some dollars at them, and they're getting the land. So when they start growing, and maybe they've already started growing, maybe you already know the answer to this, but how is that going to affect the American farmer?
Well,
obviously it's going to, it's not going to be
ago,
good.
We were still the biggest producer, but the bigger issue is South America. I mean, Brazil produces more beans than we do. Argentina, Brazil, Argentina, South America. So that's more of a risk, in my opinion.
Now, does China buy from them? Does China buy from them as well?
Oh yeah. Oh, and you talk about what they've done in South America, in Africa. They've poured billions of dollars into South America. Part of the problem with South America is they have no infrastructure. So when they have their harvest, there are these huge lineups of barges and trucks, and every year, and then every year there's a strike.
A strike, yes. I remember last year when they, or 2 years ago, they went on strike, and the price of beans just shot up. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
If you had, it's like the garbage men. They go on strike in the summertime when it's hot. That's when they have their leverage. And so that's it. They put a lot of money down there. They've built. They're trying to get, bring them up to speed with some modern highways. That's a big problem. The Brazil's got South America in general has tremendous logistical problems when so they have a big crop, and then it takes forever to get it shipped out. So yeah, they come for their beans between the United States and South America, and that's been something. But at the end of the day, South America produces more beans than we do.
Mm-hmm.
Or they're comparable. It's not like it's they eke us out a little bit, but that certainly changed the face of the price of soybeans worldwide. But China has got last check. Let's see, China's population. China population. So according to, it's 1.4 billion people as of 2013. So when you've got that many people, you're constantly worried about feeding them. And the interesting thing is too, Chinese, they have their protein of choice is pork. So they have, I think the last statistics I read is they have 1 hog for every 3 people. So they've got close to, yeah, that's their favorite. And also last year, a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago, I can't remember the exact time frame, they came in and bought Smithfield, which is a large pork processing firm here in the U.S. because, again, they're well aware of the fact that they've got people they need to feed. So I think rather than be worried about what they're going to do, I would try and embrace it. And I think that while somebody like Donald Trump may be out there talking about having a trade war with China, when he really digs into how much we're independent on them and they're dependent on us, I just think it's more saber-rattling than anything else. You know, it gets people excited because people feel like we have unfair trade. But at the end of the day, we have to do business with these people. And I think moving forward, we could probably get some better deals. But when you look at how much they impact certainly our agricultural exports, I don't think he wants to be over there, really. He may talk a good game, but I think when the doors close, they're going to realize, hey, you guys need us just as much as we need you. So.
Yeah. Yeah, well, of course, the rumor is that they're going to announce that they have a currency that is now backed by gold. And how that's going to affect the world stage, I don't know. But word is they've been quietly accumulating gold over the years, and they devalued their yuan to get it down to a value where they can come out and prove to the world that they actually have the gold reserves. Because unfortunately, embarrassingly so, America, if they had to show the money today as far as, the gold or the silver that's supposed to be in all of these warehouses like, Chase and all of the others, did you see that? Did you see years ago Geraldo found Al Capone's
Yeah, the vault empties. Yeah,
yeah.
at the end of the day, our money's really backed by the full faith in the Treasury of the United States Treasury. So when we left the gold standard, that kind of all went by the wayside. I know we get to argue all day about is that good, is that bad.
Yeah, well, it's a fiat currency. It's a currency backed by,
right.
In our case, debt. I mean, I had yesterday as a guest an advisor to the Vatican. He has the ear of the Pope, and he's trying to get some help from Mozambique, deeply in debt. They found a $1.8 billion loan that had somehow been hidden. It gets a little complicated for me, but it's a organization called Jubilee USA, and they deal with all of these debt-ridden third world countries, and they try to help them get on their feet, and they've been trying to help Puerto Rico. And when the Pope was here in the U.S., that's how I got introduced to the group through their executive director. And he was on the show, and his media guy was on yesterday. And, everywhere you look in the world today, there's just debt, and more debt. Now, China has its share of debt. And I think the last thing that China wants is to end up with a mountain of worthless U.S. dollars. But I think that they are going to announce that the yuan is now is no longer a fiat currency, but is in fact backed by gold. And I think they're going to be prepared some way, somehow, to actually prove that they have the gold reserves to back their currency. Now, what does that mean in a world of fiat currencies? All of a sudden you have one currency that's actually backed by something. It has to become attractive to people because most of the people, I mean, do you remember when we were on the gold standard?
No, I was born in 1966. But,
right,
my
point.
I read about it. And there's, the reason they did that is actually so they could do deficit spending and actually try and avoid Great Depression. So that was the reason they did that.
Yeah, they did it.
Whether or not it was the right thing to do, it's not. I mean, I know a lot of people, like I said, you could argue. There's books written on why is that good, why is that bad. I don't know.
Yeah.
I know that I still think is the currency of choice currently is the U.S. dollar. People thought the euro back in 08, 09, the euro was going to take over. Well, you can see how well that's done. I can remember reading articles back in 2010 about how China Russia, France, our buddies in France, and the Saudis all got together because they were thinking about replacing the dollar with, I think, the euro. So this happens all the time. I think every 5 or 10 or 15 years. At the end of the day, like I said, we're going to have to do trade based on some unit, and whether or not it's the U.S. dollar or the euro or some Chinese-backed gold, whatever the currency of choice is, the market will tell us what it is. It won't be the Politburo or whatever it is, whoever runs China. It won't be the oligarchs there. It won't be Vladimir Putin. Hopefully it won't be somebody like Al Gore. It'll be the market. So, so moving forward, I'm a big believer in letting the market solve things. A lot of politicians and a lot of, really smart people have, they may have some ideas, but getting it where the rubber meets the road, I think it's, something I would, I'm more suspect of how it's going to work out. But, if you think that, gold should be at $5,000 an ounce instead of $1,300, this is your chance to, load up. I mean, we're down to $1,300 right now, moving lower here today.
Yeah, I know. We were just a couple days ago. We were up around 1345, and I thought we were getting ready to put in a good rally on gold, and now we've just day by day. It's like when you put the frog in the pot of water. You slowly turn up the heat. He doesn't notice it. But if you throw a frog into a pot of boiling water, he'll jump right out of it. That's gold. Is we're down $5 today.
Gold is a fear.
No big deal.
It's a fear trade.
Yeah.
It's a fear trade. It's a fear trade. Now you go back. The height of fear in this country was probably before going into Obama's second election in 2012. That's when gold peaked out at $1,900. And if you made the mistake of getting scared and selling all your stocks and buying gold,
I was peeing in my pants when he got reelected. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, you missed out on a huge stock market rally, and your $1,900 gold dropped to $1,000.
Whacked
8 months ago.
Yep.
So yeah, so you got whacked. So that fear impulse can cost you money. That just as much as the greed impulse can. So I would say be careful about falling in love with any one idea. So we'll see. But I mean, I don't know. I've seen gold at $300, and I've seen it at 1,900. But at the end of the day, gold is really is a currency substitute. And that's why you look when the dollar rallies, the gold. It's the inverse for gold. It's the dollar gold trade. And today you've got the dollar making a new high for the move, up above 96 cents again. I was looking at a chart just back in May. The May low, that was a 20-month low. The dollar was selling off.
Right.
So we've had a pretty good rally in the U.S. dollar. The rest of the world seems to want to own U.S. dollars. Maybe when the Chinese go to the gold standard dollar, maybe the rest of the world will want to own Chinese dollars. I don't know. But right now, the market's telling you one thing. So
I had a guest this week that was talking about a sell-off in the dollar that they felt was coming. I pulled up a weekly chart. My charts would only take, I guess I can pull in a little more data here. Let's see.
Well, you look at the dollar was stuck at 80 cents forever and ever and ever and ever. And we had a big move in the dollar. The dollar moved 20% higher.
Yeah, now it's been stuck. It's been oscillating above and below 95 cents, 96 cents.
Yeah. We went to par, kind of stuck our head over par.
And so
like I said, I don't know. I look at the
since
picture.
February of 2015, we've been stuck in this range. Dollar. Hang on, let me move this so I can see it. The upside of the range has been $1.07, and the low side of the range has, well, in reality, it's about 92 cents. So that's what we've been doing since February of 2015. Pinging back and forth from 97, or I'm sorry, 92.7 up to $1.05. So this thing has, I mean, if you pull up whenever you have a chance, a weekly chart on the dollar, I'm looking now all the way back to November 9, and if I do the same fibs that I did on the soybeans a minute ago, for some reason my fib tool's going backwards, not forwards. Come on. Work with me here. There it is. We go up to the high and then come back down to the 24% retracement and then back up to the high and back down to the 24. And now it's kind of hovering a little bit above the 24. So I don't know. This guy called Jim Willie. I don't know if you've ever heard of him. He has a website, The Golden Jackass. He's pretty he's pretty popular and writes a lot and talks a lot, and he is warning of a coming decline in the dollar, and to watch out for that, to be prepared for it.
Well, I mean, you go back to 2011, like I said, 2011, 2012, going into that election, the dollar was down at 72, 73, and then you saw it spike up to 85. So you had, after that, you know, and then for a long, long time, for between July of 2013 and September of 2014, you know, we traded between 80 and 85, 80 and 85.
Yep,
and
you're right.
Look and see, we popped above a resistance at 85. So I would say,
well, boy, I got to tell you,
that guy,
beginning about June of 2014, this thing went on a tear through March 2015.
I know what that guy's calling for a break in the dollar. It's pretty simple. What he's looking at is if you take a trend line and go from the May 2011 low, then it hits again in 2014. So he's thinking that, you know, the dollar's going to go from 95 to 85, which, you know, you can, if you draw enough trend lines, you'll find one that, you know, will work out. Hindsight's always 20/20. You know,
yeah.
You draw so many trend lines, it looks like cat's cradle.
Yeah.
But that's what he's doing. I mean, yeah. So he thinks that, you know, if we can't get above par, maybe we fall back down, and that's probably what he's doing.
Well,
I always ask these guys, you know what? Show me your trading account. Show me that you're short the dollar. Show me how much money you're going to make when you make all this money in the dollar. Then I'll have some respect for you. You know, show me your tax returns. So many people have so many ideas, and you know, you never really see where the rubber meets the road. So if this guy thinks that the dollar is going back to 85, then he should make a fortune. You know, he should never have to write another newsletter again. So that's what I would say. Same thing. If you've got guys out there, if you think that the U.S. dollar is going to go, you know, a certain way, the best thing to do is to put the trade on, and if you're right, you'll get paid. You know, that's the beauty of if you want to speculate. You know, if you've got an idea and you have a functioning index finger, you can click and trade. So, you know, go ahead.
I don't care what business you're in. The best resume you can have is a copy of your tax returns. Whether you're walking into a trading company or you're walking into Google, and they go, "Do you have a resume?" Yeah. Throw down your last 2-3 years of tax returns, and they either got to believe you were working for somebody that was grossly overpaying you, or that you actually know how to do what you say you know what you can do. And now they know what they got to beat if they want you. Of course, the question comes up why you're out of work. Hey, are you a conspiracy theorist? I get the impression that maybe you're not, but this one's pretty good. This one's actually pretty good. Go on when you have time to kill. Go on YouTube and Google Clinton perp walk on YouTube. And the video you're looking for is the one where there's this lady talking at the beginning. Now, she seems pretty tinfoil hat-ish herself. But then they cut to the actual mainstream media footage of when Hillary was led away from the 9/11 ceremony on Sunday when she was feeling ill, and you know, it came out that she's got pneumonia or whatever. That's the story. But anyway, this lady who put this video up, she does slow-mo and she zooms in, and it really does. Now, I don't know if it's an optical illusion. I don't know if it's because it's a subconscious thing, because she tells you what you're about to see. But as they put Hillary into that black SUV, it really does look like she has her hands handcuffed behind her. And the stumble that she makes. Now again, somebody could have used editing software to put this sound in, but you can hear a clink as if her leg irons. I mean, who's going to put leg irons on a 70-year-old woman? I mean, is she really going to run and get away? But this woman who did this video, she said that there are certain members of the establishment who have been trying to bring her to justice for some time, said when they finally had all the dirt that they needed to actually arrest her, they were going to make her do the perp walk, and that's what this supposedly is. I watched it about
they better hurry up. They better hurry up because they've got what, 2 months left? So
yeah, I know.
Hurry up.
Well, I'm just saying, I watched this thing probably 10 times last night over, and every time I watched it, it looked more and more like, I couldn't actually see the handcuffs, but the way her hands were behind her back and the way the two guys on the sides of her were holding her and lifting her into the van, and the way it looked like her legs wasn't working right. I mean, it's the power of suggestion is a very powerful thing. I'm not saying that's what it really was.
I'm just pulling it up. I'm pulling it up. I'm watching it regular. Looks like she's about to pass out here. This is just off. Okay. I don't see. Yeah, no, her shoe came off. Yeah, no, I don't see anything on her feet.
Okay.
So
Well, I couldn't see anything.
My guess is somebody edited it. So that's my guess.
It could be. Yeah.
Yep.
One thing the other thing that was part of that video at the end is a few hours later when she comes out of her daughter's apartment, they're saying that's a body double because the woman in that picture looks 10 years younger than her. So, you know, these conspiracies.
I wonder if Bill gets to pick the body double.
Oh my goodness.
Is that in his contract? He gets to pick all of Hillary's body doubles.
You know,
well,
you know, Chris, the sad truth of all of this is, if there's an election, and there was a case made on the show earlier this week by one of our guests as to why there might not be an election. No matter who gets elected, America's in for a rough 4 years. Now, I would personally, everybody knows I would rather, Trump was not my first choice. When there were 16 people standing and he was the last man standing, there was no one more surprised than I. But over Hillary, I have to give him my vote, and that's just the way it goes. But I'm really concerned. How did, when Obama took office, we didn't really have any strong Republican candidates. This time we had 16, all, I think, qualified for the job, and I would have never guessed the last man standing would have been Donald Trump. But the American people.
I don't think Donald Trump would have guessed. I don't think Donald Trump would have guessed he was last man standing.
Right.
But no, I mean, the bottom line is people, none of those guys, and that's the sad state of our Republican parties. None of those guys had any charisma. I don't know, one of those guys where I'd want to sit down and have a beer with. And that's the problem. That's the connection that these guys have missed. And I think it's the problem with the Republican Party. They're disconnected from real mainstream America, and that's one reason we really haven't had somebody like that. Reagan appealed to everybody, And I don't think either Bush really appealed to everybody. But that's the one thing that the Republicans are missing. And unfortunately, it's boiled down to, the choices we have. But yeah, we get 16 people, and it's like when you go shopping for shoes, the people, they turn their nose up at everybody except for Donald. And so it is what it is, that we get the government we deserve. So apparently this is what people are looking for. And
yeah.
But I mean, you look at it, it's a toss-up. I mean, they both have tremendously high levels of negatives, the highest negative ratings of anybody ever means. So
no matter who wins, it will be the most hated president in the history of America.
Right, and this country's it's divided.
We deserve better than that.
It's been divided. Yeah. So, but that's what we're missing. We're missing somebody that can focus on what we have in common as opposed to what we have, what separates us. And I think part of that's all wrapped up into the fact with this social media stuff now, where anybody that has two opposable thumbs can text away and share their opinion, whether or not it's they have they understand the subject they're talking about or not. It's just we have this cacophony of noise and opinions, and I think that's something that certainly the founding fathers never imagined Twitter and all this stuff. So it's going to be interesting to see how things turn out. Long term, I think this is still the best place to live, and we'll stumble through, and 20 years from now we'll look back and say, isn't that amazing? We were so upset about that at that time. So right. I tend to be positive. I think this country's got a lot going for it, and it's still the best place in the world to live.
It is, absolutely. I was just talking about that earlier. Right. The strength of the American people, the strength of this nation, we'll survive this. We've survived, I don't know if we've survived worse, but I believe we'll survive this. So
now I got to go figure out how I can get long the Chinese dollar now. I got to figure that out. I got to dig into that trade now. So
good luck. Let me know what you find out, and we'll talk next Friday.
I will.
All right, brother.
Have a good week.
Take care.
Okay, take care, man. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay. Now, that was Chris Robinson of the Robinson Review. You should go take a free trial. Who is Chris Robinson? There he is. And I think it's on the home page that you can sign up for. Somewhere. You'll find it. I have faith in you. Oh, subscribe. There you go. Then you get a 30-day free trial. Now, keep in mind that Chris, he spends a lot of time talking to farmers. Well, we saw that previous page. Okay? He helps them hedge their crops so that when it does come harvest time and when it does come time to go to market, they actually get the best price for their crops. So far different from some of our guests who come on the show who are just pure day traders, pure speculators. This is someone who's trading in a fashion to assist farmers, because timing is everything. I mean, you could have crops in the field and soybeans are trading at $12. Well, by the time harvest comes along, they're trading at $8. Wow, that's a huge difference. So what if you can lock in that $14 price or a $13 or a $12 price? Now, granted, if come harvest time they're trading at 17, well, you're stuck with 14. So it's a hedge. It's a way of trying to look at all possible factors and ensure that the farmer gets a fair price for his product. And we thought all you had to do was put seed in the ground and water it, and God would provide the increase. He does. And if you're farming for food, that's one thing. If you're farming for a living, that's a whole nother thing. And it can be pretty complicated, this whole business of hedging. If you have interest in it, get a hold of Chris, subscribe to his newsletter, and if you got a farm, by all means, get in touch with him. Let him know you heard about him on CFRN radio. All right, real quick, we're going to shoot through these quicker than you can believe. The Dow last night, because I've got some meetings and I have to finish up early today. Okay. The Dow, we were looking to be buyers at 120. That never happened. We were looking to be sellers at 180.45. At least we know you got a straight line to start with. That makes things easier. 180.45. All right. First move down took us to 26. 45 to 26. What is that? 19? 19 points. Okay. You need 20 to make your goal of $100 per contract per day. Actually, we had two moves here back to back. The first one took us down. We were selling, oh, I should write that down. $180.45. Okay. All right, swing low here. Actually, we need to get the swing low here. Is 16. So 45 minus 16. $29. Okay. So there's 29. And then in that same 30-minute period, price gets back above the trigger and comes down again. And this time it makes it to come on. $0.02. So that's 43. Now to trade the 2420 blueprint to make $100 per contract per day, etc., you need 20 points. The Dow pays $5 per point. And then we get back above the trigger and down we come again, and so far this time we've got down to 13. 45 minus 13. That's 32 cents. Now we never get out at the exact swing high or the exact swing low because we trail our stop. There was, however, ample opportunity to reach the daily goal if your daily goal is $100 per contract. But, I mean, let's face it, this was, on the 15th, we traveled from here to here. Today, we've traveled from nowhere to nowhere else. So, gold, we know, is down today. The alerts came out last night at 9 p.m. Eastern, 2100. Okay. Okay. Gold. Sell 1317. Okay, the first trigger of 1317 took you all the way down to 6.4. Sell 1317. Now that trade most likely you either stopped out or walked away. One of the two. It's going to be my guess. Now here we had to move down to 1440. So that would be $260 per contract. The low there was 1309.20, and so that would be $780 per contract. That's what the market made available. It would be, of course, difficult to get out with exactly $780 unless you're a psychic. But as the market pulls back, and if you got stopped out with half of that, $400. It's a nice check. Nice, especially if you're trading multiple contracts. And how do you get to multiple contracts? Well, first you pass the 10-day test. Then you increase your account balance by $2,000. And then you add your second contract. And then you follow the calendar, which will walk you right on up to 20 contracts in 24 months if it takes you 10 trades every day to make $100. Hopefully, it won't take you 10 trades every day to make $100. However, if it does, you'll still get there. If it takes you less than 10 trades every day to make your $100, you'll get there, but you'll have a larger account because you'll have paid less in commissions. Bonds took a little bit of a run today. Let's see, 2100. And on bonds, we were looking to buy 165.25. Buy 165.25. Bonds pay $31.25 per tick. Okay. Now, to get this in the right spot, a little too much. $165.25. Yep, 165.25. Oh, Dwayne, what's wrong with you? There you go. Buy 165.25. Beautiful. Okay. So from 165.25 to 166.25, that would have been $1,000 per contract. Swing high was $166.19. So from 25 to 32, that would be 7 ticks plus the 19. That would give you 26 ticks. 26 ticks. Per contract available. We can attach a dollar value to that. 26 times 31.25 is $812.50. That pays for half of your quarterly subscription to the Concierge Trade Alerts. And then we had a bounce here that took us up to 166.09. And so 7 and 9, that would be 16 ticks. And then another bounce that took us up to 166.02. So that would be 9 ticks. You need 4 to reach your daily goal if you're trading the 2420 blueprint. 3125 times 4 is $125 per contract. So there's bonds, crude oil. Let's get 2100. Okay. Now, last night I sent out the numbers on the GCLV contract. We've rolled forward to the X contract. Okay. As you can see, there was sufficient volume even at 1:30 in the morning. That 30-minute candle held 3,600 contracts. $524 contracts. And then, so everything going forward, including the 1 trade a days, the Concierge Trade Alerts that come out on Sunday night, all of those will be GCLX. This is the last time you'll see GCLV, unless I make a mistake. So GCLV, we were to sell 43.45. Sell 43.45. And the swing low was 42.74. So 43.45 minus 42.74 gives us 71 ticks. $71. Ticks available, or $710 per contract available. That's the maximum amount you could have taken out of it. That's if you got out at the exact swing low, which we find difficult to do. Now, important prices, important areas are almost always tested. So I will drag this over, and we will see that we did get above 43.45. We did trigger a second time, and so far we've made it down to 42.86. 43.45. minus 42.86 is 59. So you got 59 ticks there. Or $590 per contract available. Okay, so that covers crude. So we've done the S&P, we've done the Dow, we've done gold, we've done bonds, we've done crude. Let's go to beans. Beans got to be under bonnet. 2,100 hours. Okay. Where's that such a challenge? It doesn't belong there, but it belongs at 2,100, but I don't think it's going to make a difference because the order of the day was to buy 951, which is here. By 951. Okay, and we've made it all the way up to 69. Goodness. That's 18, 51, 69, 18. $18 points. Or $900 per contract available. That's from the alert to the swing high. Now the issue here, okay, where are you going to run your stop? Well, if you've been in a mentoring session with me, you know where to run your stop here. Problem is, from 951, you only put in a high at 952. That was the swing high, 952. So chances are, looking for a bigger move, which you eventually got, you stayed in the trade and you got stopped out. Now, you more than made up for it if you rode this up. What if you only took it to here? And then you got taken out on this pullback right here. Let's look at the reality of that. 51 to 63, that's going to be 12 points. Points available, $600 per contract. Okay. Sell side on the beans. David says the ES is collapsing. Thanks, Jim. I just saw what you wrote. I've never heard him speak. I've never written anything that he's wrote I've never read anything that he's written. Yeah, I just keep hearing from Wayne, you know, that he's some great guy. So I just thought, you know, what the heck? I always try, guys, to bring you the best of whatever I can bring you. So I'll take that, certainly take what your comment there into consideration. 947. Sell 947. Oh, that looks like a stop out to me. As did this. I'm telling you, I always say November beans are the kindest beans of all. But as we're starting to near the end of November beans, suddenly not so kind. That's a shame. Now the NQ yesterday had an incredible run. Look at that. $1,600. It ran further than that on the whole session, but just from where we had our buy entry at 47.44, it ended up doing 1640 or 82 points. Look at this. But after a wide range day, expect a day of consolidation. That's just the way it goes. Does that happen 100% of the time? No. In case you're wondering. No. All right. NQ. Buy 48.15. That was possible. Sell 4,800. Possible, but boy, you wish you hadn't have done that. Selling 4,800. Ah, the swing low was, yeah, that was a 1-point move. That'll make you rethink your career choice. Yeah, long sides. I've heard a lot of people say, honestly, I've heard many traders say, I don't trade on Friday. And I always thought, well, that's just weird. That's just superstitious. That's silly. That doesn't make any sense. But couple markets today, like soybeans and now the NASDAQ, buying 48.15 worked out real well. Over here, put in a high at 28.75. So, well, if it was 30, that would be 15. If you knock off 2 points, that would be 13. Yeah, okay. So 13 points available per contract. At $20 per point, it's $260 per contract. Not bad enough.
I'm going to start up that other meeting right now, Dwayne. Okay. So I'm going to leave this one and jump into that one.
Oh, for some reason I thought I still had another hour to go before. I can't seem to get the handle on this time change. All right, I'll be there in a second.
Okay.
All right. Man, I was getting ready to close the show and then go take an hour's rest. The Russell didn't move enough to even, well, you heard, I gotta go. This meeting has to do with our efforts to bring you the Nikkei Mini, which opens at 7:30 at night, has almost as much volume as the S&P 500. It will be brought to you on multi-charts. We have now coded our indicators to work on multi-charts. We're having one of the final quote-unquote high-level meetings right now so that we can get this out to the public. So, I gotta go. It's Sunday. I mean, it's the weekend. God. It's the weekend, so I do hope that you'll spend some quality time with your family. I hope to see you in church on Sunday. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whoever you are, wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with His mercy and with His grace. And I'll see you at the bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-host, and guest. To learn more about trading Emini Futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any securities. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.